Oh, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? We're back again. It's 8 o'clock on Thursday, November 18th. What are you guys up to today? Anything happening? We're here rolling along. It was actually kind of surprisingly mild today. But we're back here with more coffee and cigars. We're doing coffee, cigars, and whatever else comes our way. It's going to be a good show today. We've got great coffee from Costa Rica, as well as a cigar that's actually been out for about a year now. It's called the JC Newman Yagua. And it should be kind of interesting. It's got this weird shape to it that I thought was really quite interesting when I was browsing the cigars. So we're going to do those today and then talk about whatever. You know, it's all good. Oh, nice. All right. So what's going on? We're here in beautiful downtown Cockeysville, where there's been light misty rain. And I can't tell by looking out the window if there's like, what it's like. Like the last couple of nights, it's been like a new moon. So super clear, super really, really nice. And I hear tonight is going to be the longest lunar eclipse of our lifetime. So the lunar eclipse is going to start right around 2:15 and last until about 4:30. So 3 hours of lunar eclipse. Of course, it could be raining and cloudy. So here in Baltimore, well, that would suck. But, we're going to find out. I guess I'll try to stay up. So how are you guys doing this week? How's everything going? What are you drinking? Where are you tonight? What are you smoking? Drop those in the comments below. Love to have if you have me watching the replay, thank you very much. Really appreciate you spending that time with us as well. So tonight we're going to be brewing a coffee from Costa Rica, one that we've had here before, called the Finca Santa Lucia. It's a red honey process, and it's really nice. So Mark's asking, what's going on, Mark? You gonna try? You mean to stay up tonight? I'm gonna try. I might not make it. I've been pretty tired lately, so I might not make it. I mean, maybe I should. We will see. We'll see. Anyway, like I said, the coffee tonight is the Helsar from Helsar Desarcero, which is the group, and a really lovely coffee. Like I said, we had it before, but we're going to try this brewing kit here. It's called the Kalita Cafe Tall. Come on, focus. Some days this camera works great. Some days it doesn't. I guess this is the night that it's not going to work so well. I've been too far from it. Maybe I should come closer. Is that better? No, that doesn't work any better. We'll hold it here so you can see. There we go. There we go. It doesn't hold it. It's terrible. Anyway, so it's made by a company called Kalita, and the Kalita is a coffee company in Japan, and they make this thing called the Tall, the Cafe Tall, and what it is, it's this kind of really simple, small brewer. A friend of mine gave this to me. It's a wedge-shaped brewer. As you can see here, there's a wedge shape. There we go. That has the ribbing for the pleasure, as well as 3 holes. So the ribbing for the pleasure keeps the coffee off of the sides, the paper off the sides. So we'll check the radar. Okay, do that. Oh, and Tony's calling in from San Diego. Milk tea, Corona Gorda, and ginger lemon green tea liquid 4. Liquid 4? Is that 4 or IV? No diet cherry. What kind of things are out there in San Diego? No ID. Yes. And Rusty says the brewer made for travel. Yeah, this is a great one for travel. What is there? So and then Mark's asking, kind of like the beehive, kind of. Yeah. Kind of like the bee house in that it's a wedge shape, but plastic, and it can take a drop and, it takes a good beating. And the nice thing is, so it's got this Napoleon kind of thing, right? This shape, very Napoleon. And you can take it and put it on your cup, and that little protrusion, helps with the side-to-side motion, right? Helps prevent from side to side. Also, as you can see, the wedge part fits below the lip area, so that all kind of helps to hold it in place. So hopefully it doesn't go careening off. On the other side, it has this little notch. So I think that could be for, helping with your grip, but also it helps you to see down into the cup, I guess. And, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've used it a couple times in the past, and I think it works pretty well. So we're going to use that. And you could use, I'm pretty sure you can use any filters, Rusty. Kalita does make these 101 filters. And these are made specifically these are designed to work with them. So everyone knows the Kalita in America as a basket brewer, but they actually make wedge-shaped brewers and filters. So here they are, the Kalita 101. We'll just take that. So basically it's kind of like a little mini Melita. So maybe like a Melita number 2. So put that away. And as you can see, it's got this little wedge shape. So it's really small, but we'll make it work. So I like to fold I like to fold it at the seams, and I do opposing folds, right? So as you can see, the one fold is here, the other fold comes over, mainly because I like it to sit as flat as possible inside the wedge. And I think that helps it do that. So you just kind of spread it open. You spread it open and then insert along the ribs. Then you could spread it. Now you can use this and you could wet it and rinse it. I'm not going to do that. I don't really believe in that. Not anymore. Okay, so we've got our normal 24 grams to make 12 ounces of coffee. So we're just going to put that in here. So as you can see, it just kind of fits in there like this. How much do I dare to turn it over? Okay, good. Now I'm going to get these set up. Is that enough? We're going to use our brewing kettle. Oh, that's not enough. So we're going to use our brewing kettle. Here we are. And this should fit the fit, just like that. Et voila. Now we're going to take our hot water. And I've transferred the hot water into our Kalita brewing kettle with the Pelican beak. And now we're just going to give it a simple pour over. I'm going to start off by, see, there it is. There's why they have the wedge. Totally save the day. So we're going to start off with some pulsing and some wetting. Rusty, you're acting Comic. Oh, Comic. Comic is the workshop of one of our friends who runs the company. Oh, they're all at Comic. They didn't call me, bastards. So we're just brewing now. And, it's a simple brew. My basic philosophy with brewing is just about maintaining control and timing so you get good extraction, right? So we want to have our total brew finish about 3.5 to 4 minutes. And I think once you start getting that, you get very consistent results. And I think that's true with any coffee. Oh, lower. So Mark says if we go lower, you can see the pour better. Whoops. All right, let's try that. Maybe I could tilt it a little bit. Really, I'm just going on a very basic, simple way. I'm just pulsing across, keeping all of the grounds hydrated and flowing. I saw some videos of some guys doing pour overs just yesterday. You know, they're pouring in the center and pouring in the center, and like they're missing a whole bunch of coffee that's not getting extracted. And I think that's not really the way to go. To me, the coffee is really about the ratio of grinds to water. Now, of course, because it's a small vessel, it doesn't hold very much water. So you really have to kind of do a constant brew through it. How much coffee do we have yet? Oh, still not there. Maybe I'll take this on the plane. So you guys been doing anything interesting this week? Now I'm just pouring a little bit heavier, just keeping it wet and saturated while we head to the final part of the brew. It's probably taking me longer than normal. All right, that's about it. That's about right. I'm gonna let that stop brewing. All right. All right. All right, let's go back with our glass here. Oh, nice and rich. Maybe like notes of like dark cherry. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Round bodied, full, robust. But actually, from what I remember, I think that was actually a better brew than the last time I made it. There's a like dried mango. The acidity is on the low end. It's very smooth in that respect. It doesn't have a lot of punchiness of acidity, but good dry mango notes, some tropical notes, maybe a little bit of like dried pineapple as well. Ooh, interesting. Mark says he brewed some Akmel from Coffee Collective today, and it was killer. So did you, the Coffee Collective, you mean the place in Copenhagen, right? And Akmel, I'm going to guess that's from Ethiopia. Akmel? That sounds great. That sounds great. All right, let's move all this out of the way. All right, so as we are wanting to do on this show, after we have our coffee all ready for us, it's usually time for a cigar. And today's cigar I picked up at Tobacco Leaf in Jessup, Maryland. This cigar cost $9.95, and that's how much I paid. And it's from a company called JC Newman. JC Newman's been around for a long time. And this particular cigar is called the Yagua. And the Yaguas was, I thought it was really, what really caught my eye with the Yagua was the shape. Like if you look at this cigar, look at that crazy shape. That's not really, that's not round. It's kind of oval-ish, kind of trapezoidal even, right? It's got this really funky shape. And by the time that I found it, it was in a box with only one other Yagua, and the other Yagua was very round. And I thought, why is that? That's weird. And so as I read a little bit about it today, turns out that this style of cigar rolling was pretty old, like, you know, from the 40s, where they would take the bundle, I guess maybe 20 or whatever, and they would wrap it in a leaf, a palm leaf, and then tighten it. Instead of putting the cigars in molds, they would put it in this leaf. And then so some of the cigars, I guess the ones that are more on the outside of the packaging of the right, would be compressed, and that would give them their funky shape, because I guess a lot of the cigars aren't evenly shaped. They're actually kind of weird shape, you know. Rusty's saying funky shape because I factored, you'd think, but according to what I had read, and let's see here. So let me show you this one. I'll share with you this is from JC Newman's website, their own website. Here in the second paragraph, this is, so it was the Pensa factory in Esteli. The manager is a guy named Lazaro Lopez. And Lazaro said that at our family farm, my grandfather would take fresh tobacco leaves from the curing barns and roll cigars without any molds or presses. In an attempt to give his cigars a traditional shape, he would tie a handful of them together using pieces of the Cuban royal palm tree known as the Yagua. When he was ready to enjoy his personal cigars, he untied the bundle. He loved how every cigar had its own unique shape. I still remember rich aroma and taste of my grandfather's cigars. Today, I've recreated the Yagua, rolling them exactly how my grandfather did a century ago. So I think that's kind of interesting. You know, there's it's hopefully the flavor is great, but the shape is quite interesting. It's a little bit, you know, sometimes we talk about, you know, cigars having barnyard or manure. This is a very mild. It's not barnyard. It's not manure-y. It's just very mild. Like even like here, when it's right up against my nose, the effervescence from the wrapper is very light, very almost nondescript. So let's cut into it. And, you know, artificial cutting now with the Xikar MTX tool. So if you see here, the on the foot, there is, it's kind of that, you know, kind of shape. And that's somewhat reflected on the cap. But the cap is much, it's a little bit, of course, it's rounded. Let's see if we can cut this with interest. All right, there's the cut. Did we do well? Did we do well? All right, let's see. Good draw. A little bit. There's a light saltiness on the tip of my tongue. A little bit of greenish, like a vegetal on the tongue as well, along with the saltiness. But the draw itself is nice and pleasant, just the right amount of resistance. You know, I smoked this cigar earlier this week, a Philippine cigar called the Don Juan Urquijo, the torpedo shape. It's a natural wrapper, light cigar overall. Overall construction is really nice, but the problem was it was really rolled. Like it wasn't soft. It was rolled like it felt solid, other than the very there's a little bit of bite now on the tongue, like a little bit of spice coming alive from my tasting. But back to the Urquijo. The Urquijo had a very fragile wrapper, so it kind of cracked and broke on the side that I had cut. And the draw was super loose, like so loose that you really I had to crunch down on the cigar to like get some resistance. All right, so the cold draw is quite interesting. Spice. It's starts off, like I said, a little bit vegetable, a little bit salty, and then a moment later, then it just kind of blossomed on the palate. It just came alive. There's a little bit of spiciness on the back of the throat here. Interesting. All right, let's light it up. Yeah, if we have enough. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. Hang on one second. I had to turn on the exhaust. I had a Zoom meeting right before we started the live stream. So, all right, there we go. So I'm roasting the tip here. Whoa. There's an interesting starting for that initial puff. There's a little bit of saltiness and complexity. There's a complexity to it. Interesting. It's like a dark. There's a darkness to it. A little bit of harshness, spice. Maybe it's that black pepper. Speaking of black pepper, it reminds me, I've had this like pepper mill by a company from Switzerland called Kun Rincon. And you know how most pepper mills are that twist thing, and which I've used them, but I actually really don't like the twist. I don't know why. I found this one, Kun Rincon makes, that's called a ratchet. And it's got this ratchet. You go back and forth with it, right? And it ratchets. It's awesome. I've got a couple of them. I've used them for years. And the other week, I grab it. I'm like, flavoring something. And suddenly the ratchet part, the interior internals just fell out. Whatever whole rotating pin just blew up and just everything came out. So, the burr grind, the burrs themselves, the shaft, the springs, the different components, and all of the black peppercorns just cascade onto. I was like, oh my gosh, all over the food, all over the plate. It was terrible. So the other day I emailed the company. I said, hey man, what can we do? And their US brand manager, she was like, you know what? We're going to send you a new one. Even though yours is a little bit old, We're going to send you new ones. Oh, man, that's amazing. That's awesome. That's what I like. That's why I'm so, like, stoked about the Coon Rincon. All right, so we're getting a little bit of uneven burn initially. All right, look at that. Now, that could be just the way that, I lit it and, I'm starting to puff on it. But, it's a little bit disconcerting. It's very rare that I can get an even light. Because, I guess you're attacking it with the torch in one area earlier than the others. And I'll poivre like a mother. So what's going on out there in San Diego, Tony? Are you watching from home or from, Liberty Cigars down there? Or Churchill's? I like the cigar scene down in San Diego. I thought it was pretty nice. Speaking of cigar scenes and traveling to visit them, as we talked about in the last few episodes, Rusty was going to do the chili contest that's happening at Widmer's Tobacco in Holmes, PA, just a little bit south of PA in Delaware County. That's why I need to email. I know I should email them. So we went down there. I drove up and he drove down to. I was just there for moral support and just to check it out. But it was pretty cold, and so we went to this place. It's got a place called Widmer's Tobacco. A guy named Barry owns it, Barry Widmer, and he's been in the business, for his father and grandfather had owned it before him. So it's kind of a family business, and one that he kind of was away from and then got back into. And I think he's doing a fantastic job. Like, it's one of those places where I think it's worth to visit. Like, it's a nice shop. It's well thought out. It's not the most opulent shop, but it's clean. It's comfortable, well stocked, thoughtfully stocked. And here's the interesting thing. There's boutique brands that we enjoy or that we tend to favor. Let's say like Tatuaje, Roma Craft. Those are two big ones, right? He has neither of those. Maybe a couple of Tatuajes, but for the most part, neither of those. And he does good business. And he is well thoughtful in selection. And he has a lot of cigars that I wasn't really familiar with, that I had maybe even heard, some that I had heard about, but had never seen. And, Barry's putting a lot of thought into what he's doing. And I think it's really a cool place. Rusty, I don't know if you if you stayed there and got more cigars after. What would you pick up if you did? When you start talking to Barry's laugh, that's the funny thing. It's like, yeah, he was definitely chewing like talking like nonstop about stuff. But I'm someone that really was interested, so it was really great. It was really great because you go to some cigar shops and staff's not too knowledgeable. They don't want to talk too much, or they talk to you in a way that just rubs you the wrong way, right? So Barry's none of that, really. Actually, in some ways, he kind of reminded me of a mix of Skip Martin and Mike Rosales, in stature and kind of manner. I was kind of laughing about that to myself as we were spending the day there. So I've got some photos. I'll show you here let me see if I can pull these up. Here we are. So we're going to start off with our hero here, Rusty, working the pot. Exactly. Can you imagine? Hard to believe. So Rusty's here. They got a table. There's 7 competitors, I believe it was. And they're all, doing some kind of chili. Of course, the basic premise is that you must do chili. So Rusty's there. He's got his chili going on, his spices, his what do you call it? The tomatoes and beef and all that. And yeah, man, you were cold. We were cold. It was a cold day. I was hoping it wasn't gonna be so cold, but as the day wore on, it got a little bit colder, and the cold just started to get through to you. Like I was actually considering wearing shorts, yes, that day, and then I thought, okay, that would be foolish. So I put on chef pants, and then I was like, no way, I can't. I'm not gonna manage it. So I put on my chinchilla, my Patagonia chinchilla fleece pants, thin fleece, not too thick. And so that's Rusty there doing his thing. And one of the other competitors, who's a regular, that guy named Steve, who's a firefighter for Philadelphia. We're talking to him. He's hanging out. He's like, man, I'm going to get you guys some stuff. So he went out and picked up a bunch of pretzels from a place called Bernie's. Great pretzels. To be honest with you, I really don't know anything about pretzels. I thought they were good, but they were fine. I thought they were fantastic. But I don't know anything about that. Look at that. They were just attractive. So there was this Philadelphia pretzel place in Towson many years ago. And I would go there, but it was just this simple pretzel, very similar to what you see here. And they're all like baked together. And so I didn't really understand anything about pretzels, especially like Philly is like super like into pretzels. So it's definitely interesting. And so we got yellow mustard and spicy mustard, a more coarse mustard, whole grain type mustard. And then Barry gave the competitors the EPC, the EP Carrillo Inch Natural, which is a 60 ring gauge cigar. I thought that was, it was nice. It was a nice cigar, nicely made, nice construction, but for my palate, just a bit too light. Like it just didn't excite me. Like it didn't have enough oomph. Like I want a little more oomph. It's really smooth. I think Rusty thought, I remember Rusty saying that he really liked it. So, but Rusty's, like he said, he told me, he's like, my palate's more medium plus, where I'm definitely more toward medium plus to full. But I thought it was really well made. And, he gave me one, and Barry gave me one, so I was very grateful for that. Very grateful. Prior to that, I had smoked there's a new one from Stolen Thrones. There are 3 Kingdoms. I thought that was great. I thought that was really well done. I probably should have bought more. And so also Steve, the guy Steve, what he did, he went out and he was talking about this water ice. Like here we have Rita's, and there they have water ice. And this one was from a place. Do you remember Rusty was Angelo's? And it wasn't too far away, but he was talking about how their water ice has this creamy consistency. And so I was really intrigued. I mean, it's cold. Like the idea of eating ice, something like this, is really just rather foolish. Well, although I don't know why we think that, because I'm drinking like cold Diet. I'm drinking Diet Coke on ice, so in a thermal cup, so it's as cold as I can get it. But the idea of eating like water ice seems odd. But so that shouldn't be. So he brought 3 flavors: cherry, blue raspberry, which is his favorite, and lemon. And I thought they were all quite good. Oh, Rusty says, I don't remember the name. I think so. Oh, I think you're really right. Rubio's. Yeah, I can't remember what, but it was good. It was good. If you weren't cold, it might have been better. Like if it was summertime, or at least warmer, like maybe like today, that would be much better for like heavier consumption. But the really interesting thing was that, so I go to Rita's fairly often, maybe once every 3 weeks. There's one down the road, and I really like their product. It's on the icier side. This one really was very smoothly creamy in texture. Like the texture was really interesting. And it's distinctly different than Rita's. Now here's the thing with Rita's, I like their black cherry ice, and the black cherry ice has a little bits of black cherry in it, which I really dig. And I like that black cherry. And these, You know, and I think water ice as a whole is meant to be a little bit more on the artificial side. These definitely had a little bit more of that artificial like flavoring to them. You know, where it's cherry, but it's just a cherry, like a candied cherry, right? Hey George, what's going on? And gotta say, guys and gals cigar lounge are some of the night. It's so true. It's so true. These guys were so very friendly to us. I mean, you know, we, especially Rusty and I, we're brand new to their place, and they were all very welcoming, very welcoming. Like one guy was, you know, I wasn't sure if he was. One guy was talking about how he's into the fetish world, and they were all kind of, and the guys and the girls were joking about it, and I was like, I was, and so they said it like 3 times, and I was like, I said to them, you know, I don't know if you're serious, and I thought, oh yeah, and I was like, oh, all right, right on, you know, dominant submissions, that whole world. I was like, oh, interesting. What's that website again? I have to go look it up. Anyway, so what else we have? So we had this. What is that? I don't remember what that is. Is that cheese? Oh yeah, that's right. So there's a woman that was used to work as a broker and a rep for other companies, and she now does freelance work and does part-time work for Widmer's, and she was also competing in the contest, and she made these stuffed peppers. So she took the peppers, had them in, stuffed them with chili and some other stuff, put them inside the wrapped in bacon, and then stuck them in an air fryer, covered with some cheddar cheese. Was really great. Yeah, exactly. That was good stuff. Yeah, that guy. Actually, I thought he was pretty cool. I was like, well, I'm like, what? You know, for me, I mean, I know all kinds of people, and so I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm gonna have to try that out because it was interesting. It was interesting. Oh, and Tony says, from your brother's house, fire in the back. Fire already? Isn't it like 5:30? So, let's see here. Oops. So they gave everybody a table to work with and set up power so you could bring your like crock pots and slow cookers. It was a nice setup. There's Rusty on the left. And here's a little close up of Rusty's chili. And then finally, we got to the point of judging. So this is the judging. Can I make it bigger? How do I make it bigger? Sorry. I don't know how to make this stuff work. So they had their local EPC rep as well as 2 other people. I don't really know who they were. Rusty, did you know who the other judges were? And then finally get to the announcements. And so the woman that you see here with her back on the left side, she's the one that was the rep, and she made the chili peppers. She took first place. And then this gentleman here in the green, as well as Rusty, took second place. They tied for second. What was it, 11 and 15 points? Local chef. Really, the guy was a chef? Interesting. So let's go through. So here they are getting ready to set up to let people try their chilies. And this first one here, oh, that was yours, Rusty, right? This is the winning one. And so I'll go with you through the two between Rusty's and the winner. Like Rusty's had this really smoky component to it that I thought was really kind of interesting. Where I thought Rusty, that was a little bit, where I think maybe people didn't respond as well, was that yours it was much more, to me, it was much more like a zippy style chili, meaning in the texture. Like there was more, the meat was more distributed through the sauce. So it wasn't as toothy. Whereas hers was super chunky. Like she had the chunkiness to it and the vegetables, and she had a little more sweetness. So I think that sweetness and the chunkiness, I think that just appealed to the people more, but I mean, you're only talking 4 points, so it's not like it's a tremendous. But I thought they were both really fantastic. This is I don't believe this is the one this is not the one that came in second. This is the one that was venison based. So these chunks of meat you see are venison with the beans. The venison one had a really interesting component to it. If you look closely, there's beans, right? And I don't know if he put like refried beans into it, because if you imagine like refried beans in a soup, it's got that kind of like texture on the palate that also could be like, pureed liver, and also had kind of that pureed liver texture. That to me was a little bit like off-putting. Like I wasn't terribly thrilled with that. The texture of the venison was nice. It's just that sauce that had this weird like livery, and I'm not a liver kind of guy. I'm just not. Rusty says, yes, my chili is not chunky. Plus, I think the judges wanted chili more sweetness. But yeah, I definitely think that fits more in with a lot of people's ideas of chili. Like people that tell me about the chili from Cincinnati, one of their biggest criticisms for those that are not from Cincinnati is that it's too sweet and it's too much cinnamon. I don't know. I haven't been there yet. The very venison was berries. I mean, it's interesting, but I just didn't like that texture. Oh, and this is the other guy. And this one, or maybe this was Barry's dad. I don't know, but this guy had rice. He was like, it should be with rice. And also a lot of people had different fixings. Like Rusty offered like sour cream and shredded cheese. They also had like shredded cheese and all these other condiments at the center table, so you could mix that in. But I did not have any of these with any additives because I wanted to try the chilies as they came out of their pot from their different masters. This is the guy. This is the guy from a Fet Life who made really what's called a chili verde. This one's a chili verde con cerdo. It's interesting because I had just made this similar dish the other day before we went up, and the judges told him that this wasn't really chili. And, I get their point. Like, it's not chili in the fact that it's not that Texas style red chili, but it's kind of its own thing. And actually, if you know this dish, his was really good. Like, I thought his was really, really good. Like, it had all the right flavors for chili verde con cerdo. So it was really quite good. Vince. Yes, Vince. No fritos. They had Tostitos and things like that, but no fritos. Oh, Barry's dad. Yeah, so the rice one was Barry's dad. Yeah. That was, I kind of liked it. It just didn't have much pop to it. At the end of the day, I think that the three of you who took the top three were well deserving of those spots. And then we have Steve's, the firefighter who brought us the pretzels. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, when we first had the pretzels, I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to wait. Like, I'm not going to use any of the condiments, but I will use the pretzel as my condiment for all the chilies. And that was definitely the right choice. Now, here's the thing. So Steve decided that he wanted to have like a white chili. Now, I had never heard of white chili, but basically white chili is, you add cream. So it's cream, but it's really a ham base. It's really more like a ham soup than anything. Ham, beans, like a ham hock soup would have been more descriptive of it rather than chili. Like if you're thinking chili, it's very, very like outside that thing. So, but it was pretty good on its own. It was pretty good on its own. It was definitely the anomaly of the group. Definitely the anomaly. So Rusty says the thing that shocked me the most was, did the judges say the most you could score was 15 points overall? I did not hear what their point score was. I just know that you guys you and the other guy got 11 and she got 15. And would that mean Robin scored a perfect 15? Well, I guess if they only had 15 points total, like 5. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the scoring system was. I think they had each of them had a few different categories. There's 7 categories, I think. But I'm not, I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you more. I really didn't pay attention to their scoring. I was just more interested in trying all the chilies. Like, oh, okay, is it time to eat yet? I'm getting kind of hungry. And George says, I prefer nice bread with my chili. Mop all the goodness of the breast. Yes. No, I'm totally with you on that. Get nice. That's why I think I really like the pretzel. The pretzel went really well with the chilies, and even with the ham, though the white chili, that went well with that. So here we are. We're rolling along. The Yagua, it's actually smoking quite nice. It's not so heavy. It's not so like bold. It's got nice flavor. Nice tobacco flavor, kind of medium plus, medium full. Like a good complexity. It's interesting. It's smoking well. I don't know if the shape really has much impact on the way that it's smoking, but it's smoking nicely. So evidently there was a release of 1,000 boxes, with each box having 20 cigars. Like I said, we got it. Let me get rid of this. I think that was everything, right? For the chili, I think that's all the chili that we had. Yeah, that was all the chili. Oh, and Tom, hey Tom, how's it going? Welcome. I got 2 pounds of Tarbes sitting here waiting for. Oh my gosh. What last week we were talking about France and Paris and eating, and one of the things Rusty said was like, man, now I need to go to Paris. I said, yes you do, man. I can't believe you haven't been there. What kind of chef are you if you haven't been to Paris? You need to go now. Fly there right away. Making the Toulouse sausages and pork. Oh my gosh. Good Lord. Awesome, man. Awesome. You'll have to make a video showing us how you do it, because we'd love to see that. So are you smoking there tonight too, Tom, or what are you up to tonight? Yeah, this got nice flavor. So he says that Yagua is a difficult cigar to roll because they use an under-fermented Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. Maybe that's why it kind of, at least in my lighting, it looks a little bit on the lighter side than most broadleafs that I think about. And blend the filler tobaccos differently and do not use the usual tools and techniques of a cigar factory. Oh, and because the wrapper is not fully fermented, they age it for a full year before they release, or before they are rolled. They age what? As the wrapper is not fully fermented, we age. Now, let me show you what I'm doing. Let me show you what I'm watching here, or what I'm reading. Here at the bottom, it says, as the wrapper is not fully fermented, we age the cigars for a full year after they are rolled. Oh, okay. We age the cigars for a full year. Okay, good, got it. Oh, man, first one. In a month, what happened to take so long? If you had a live stream 100 episode, we would have a neat spread. Chili casa. Well, then That's what's going to happen. By the time we get to live stream 100 in July, at least my calculations before thinks that it'll be in July. Then because this is 69, so we're only 30 episodes away. So 30 weeks for 5 months, right? 30 divided by 4. 6 is 24. 7. 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. So June. Oh, McAuliffe's. Yeah. McAuliffe's. What'd you think of those? I kind of enjoyed those. And then Georgia Smoking per Tony recommendation, the Viva La Vida. Viva La Vida. Oh, I'm not familiar with that. Let's have a look at that too. Oops. Viva La Vida. Okay, that's going to take us to Coldplay. We don't want to go there yet. Oh, by AJ. There we are. AJ. Yeah, AJ makes nice cigars. Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen that one. I'm guessing you got it from there as well. And then Tom says that the McAuliffe's are burn nice, smoke easy. Yeah. It's not. I don't recall it being one of those like super crazy cigars. But I thought it was. I do remember it being a nice, pleasant smoke. So that's always nice. That's always a nice way to go. All right, so we got but these Yaguas burning nice. It's getting a little bit laggy, like right there. It's kind of lagging down. Makes me want to. I'm going to tap it out so that it doesn't fall onto onto me. Oh, nice. How's the teaching going there this week? This year so far, George? So let's have a look at what Half Wheel has to say. Whoa, Half Wheel has suddenly gone crazy with the advertising. What is going on with those people? So this is an article from September 2020. Charlie Minato. Pensa Factory, 6x54 Toro. Yeah, see what we were talking about earlier, how these are wrapped in that. I guess I don't know if they're using the palm leaf themselves in this one, but it's rolled together so that, like here, just look at this one here. This one right here looks to this one and this one are the ones that are most normal shaped looking, right? They're probably, this one especially, as close to round as you're going to get. And I mean, maybe these two as well. But mine, this one is probably more along this shape right here, or maybe even this one, which I think is just interesting. And Tom saying he's got a well-roasted roast of Yemen Haraz Sharqi Red. Oh, yeah, you should definitely brew that up. Where'd you get that from? Did you get that from Sweet Maria's or somewhere else? And what kind of roaster are you using? That's interesting to know. Okay, so rather than being placed in wooden molds, banded and tight wrapped royal palm leaf, blah, 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 boxed. Yeah, the box. Oh, so they are wrapped in the leaf and then put in the box. Ah, okay. Interesting. So far, we're just getting through the first third, right? I think it's quite nice so far. It's got that pepperiness, but it's not too peppery. Enjoy. Oh, Roast Masters. Oh, nice. Oh, you got the coffee from Roast Masters. Oh, yes, okay. And Santucker 500 gram gas. Oh, I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to look that up. And George says, going on right, teachers are burned out. Virtual in-person and in-person instruction is difficult. Oh, right, because you're doing virtual and in-person together, right? And overload of standardized testing doesn't help. Does standardized testing actually do much of anything other than, I don't know, does it just help the government, or is it really indicative of students that are learning? Like I was actually at on Sunday after I came back from Philadelphia. I had to come back by a certain time because I was supposed to meet up with some people at my old school at Loyola, and one of my friends is the principal of Loyola now, Brian, and we were hanging out and talking, and just interesting stuff to like to see how the school is today. And I tell you what, you go to Loyola today, and for those of you who are not from the area, I'm talking about a school called Loyola Blakefield, which is my high school, and Tony went there as well. And it's definitely not the school that I went to. Like, it's super nice, super, super. Like, wow, man! I'd be stoked to go there now, or if I'd be stoked if it was like that when we were there then. And Tom says, I'm excited to try. I was excited to try JC Newman's American. Does that mean you've tried it, or you're going to try it soon? I'm not familiar with the American. Let's see what that's all about. Our cigars. Oh, the American. There we are. 4th generation. This is different than the one from Alec Bradley, right? The American was first rolled at the El Reloj factory in open 1910. Rapido, Florida, sun-grown by Jeff Borsowitz in Claremont. Connecticut broadleaf, grown by John Foster, South Windsor. Pennsylvania Type 41, grown by Mennonite family farmers in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And Connecticut Havana, grown John Foster in South Windsor. I like that. You know what? I like that idea that they're placing the name to the tobacco to the farm. I think that's nice. It'd be nice if they were doing that for more companies and more, rather than just generally saying like Oliva or something like that. Oh, had a few. Okay. Yeah, I see that. Level single components made in the USA. The box of cellophane labels always. Yeah, it is. That is very cool. That's right. I wonder how that is. So, did you like it, or? And Tony says, I've been looking for the American. Thank the grandson's wife for the idea of the American. Nice. And Rusty says, we're lucky we don't offer virtual in person anymore. It did not work. Yeah, I can't imagine that would work very well. Even my niece, who's in middle school now, they're all. I think there's only one person that's virtual, because I think that kid just came in from some other part of the country. And George says, we're trying to see how many students have regressed due to last year being nearly fully virtual. So it's really difficult for people to learn virtually. Tom says they were a tad more mild than I prefer, but yeah, okay. Did you order it from somewhere online, or did you get it locally? And then Tom's got this Santucker. I haven't heard that one. Oh, there we are. Santucker R500, 700 gram. Maybe it'll load. Maybe it won't load. Okay, let's try Alibaba. Yeah, Alibaba's better. Oh, yeah. Nice. It's kind of like that Japanese Discovery roaster. It looks very similar to the Japanese one. No, those are cool. Oh, I'm sure that works great. Oh, awesome. All right, so we're smoking along. Oh, but we're not drinking. Let's see how the Santa Lucia goes along with it. Oh, the Santa Lucia now compared to the cigar feels a little bit on the lighter side. It feels a little bit more brighter. And Tom says, George, my sister-in-law's a teacher too. It's sad to hear stories. Oh man, that's too bad. That is tough. And then Tony's now moving on to the El Criolito Robusta from Abe Flores. You've been smoking a lot of those El Criolitos. Abe called me a few weeks back. He was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I'm like, I don't know, man. What's going on? How you doing? I was like, "Oh, where are you? Down in DR?" He's like, Yeah. I like, what's happening? What can I do for you? He's like, "Oh no, just check. Just want to call and see how you're doing." No, all right, man. All right, so let's go back and we'll see what we were talking about. So let's get a little details on this cigar. So the JC Newman Pensa factory in Nicaragua, using the USA Connecticut broadleaf. I wonder if it's that same guy, that guy John, that he was talking about. Oh no, I guess I lost it. Oh yeah, no, this guy John Foster. Oh no, Connecticut Havana. Maybe. Yeah, what if he makes the same one for them? Binders Nicaraguan, fillers Nicaraguan, 6x54 Toro. So MSRP of $750. So yeah, that makes sense. $995 with the Maryland with the OTP tax here in Maryland. $750 would be very attractive for this. Very, very attractive. And Tony says, go-to second cigar. Good smoke for great. Here's interesting. The El Criolito. Is it Criolito? It's Criollo, right? Well, I can't remember. Anyway, I remember it being a pretty reasonably priced cigar. But I remember I went to this one cigar lounge that had just opened, and it's one of the newer generation of cigar lounges. And, they didn't have too much selection. They had one of those, and it was $11. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, we're here to try to support them, so let's do that. And Tom says, as far as the American cigars, I know I bought them online, but I don't recall where. Oh, okay, no worries. It's going to take several years to get. Oh man, that's just rough. So does that mean you have to hold back students, or do you just let them progress? Oh, that makes sense. Jeff Borowitz, the grower of the Florida Sungrown, is the owner of Corona. So yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, absolutely. Drop them all in. At least I think it'll work. I mean, it should be. Yeah, so it's on. I think that works on YouTube. All right, so let's see here. Let's see what Charlie had. Aroma from the wrappers, mild to medium, with barnyard leather. Yeah, I didn't get any of that. It was very mild. For me, the aroma was very mild. Very weird meatiness, more poultry than beef. Maybe that's a great way to describe it, because it had this strange, but it was good. It just wasn't. Unlike the wrapper, medium full intensity. Cold draw is also medium full with semi-sweet brownie. Smell of mud, a bit of blackberry. I didn't get any blackberry. Earthiness, leather, oak, sourdough bread, some roasted flavors. Yeah, those are all pleasant flavors, and I think that's just a general. But I think that's a good description for that. Retro Hills have black pepper, roasted corn tortillas, and sourdough bread. You must really sit. You got to sit. You must sit around a long time and trying to think about what to describe. The finished Retro Hills of sourdough bread or rice, earthiness, pre-ground black, pepper, peaty whiskey burn. Flavors full. Yaguas not going to any words for how pretty the ash forms. The ash is all right. I guess the ash is all right. Construction generally pretty good. Substantial advancement in the matureness of flavors in the second third of the Yagua. Now, we're not really in the second third. We're just about to cross into that. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Tom, you're not the only one. Like, I'm really terrible at it. Like, I don't even know how to do it. Like, maybe the best I can do is inhale through the nose. Like, you drop it, you push it out. Oh, there's a little bit. It's called choking. That's what it is, called choking. So Tony says Nicaraguan Dominican fillers, Maduro binder, and Criollo 98 in a Rosado wrapper. $7.99 at my shop, sub $6 online. Can't beat it. No, that's a good price. That is a good price. Yeah, not too many people can do it, Tom. I think only the half wheel guys really do that. No, I mean, a lot of guys do it, but I can't do it. I'm programmed not to do it. All right, not bad, not bad. Let's see what else people have to say about it. Cigar Dojo, what are they saying so far? Blah, 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 blah. Same old. Appearance, somewhat the smoking experience. Aside from odd feel of cigar resting on your lips, I don't think there was an oddness in that. Like, at least my shape, this shape here, I don't think it was too odd. It definitely is going along the retro to grab your attention. It's not the realm of sneeze-inducing pepper. Thank goodness. We don't really need too much pepper bombs. Chili powder, corn chips, fall-like room aromas. Whoa. Draw was on the firm side. Mine was not that. Here's something interesting. Like, just as I'm holding my finger here, right? Right here, along this edge, I noticed there's a warm sensation right where I'm holding, right where my finger is right here. There's a warm sensation emanating from under the wrapper. So it makes me wonder, is it starting to tunnel? It's a little bit softer. George says, retention of students are rare in middle school and many public schools. High school is different because it's based on credits for graduation, supposedly. And Tony says, well, usually when it tries to retrohale, I wind up inhaling, so I don't do it. Yeah, I can't get it. Tom says, I need to buy the cigar you plan to smoke on one of your next broadcasts. Yes, we'd love to have you do that. I haven't released a new schedule because we're coming up to the last cigars in the schedule. If you look at the show notes down below, there is a listing, and I'm going to update. Actually, I've got a bunch of stuff that I picked up at Widmer's. Hold on, let me grab that. I'm going to show you what I got here. Let's see what we're going to do. So I'm not sure what we're going to smoke next week, Thursday. But the week after, on December 2nd, we're going to be smoking the Blue Bonnets Rojas. So that's coming up on December 2nd. Now, the weird thing is going to happen over the next couple weeks is that, so usually for Thanksgiving, I do something from the other humidor, which is probably some kind of rarity or whatever. I haven't really looked yet, so. But then starting on December 2nd and the week after, which is, let's look at that. The 9th and probably the 16th. So the second, I'm supposed to go start judging a competition in Saudi Arabia. So I have to fly there I might have to fly there on the 2nd of December. And if that's the case, then we will have the show still, although I will have it pre-recorded like I did back in February. So we will probably have a pre-recorded show on the 2nd and probably December 9th, because right now, for example, the 9th will be right in the middle of the competition. And like, for example, right now it is 5:10 in the morning in Riyadh. So the show would start at 4 a.m. And I may not be able to do that live, at least. Or might do an earlier show live and then rebroadcast. I still haven't figured that out. I have to figure that out. But then, depending when I return, we may or may not be able to do it live directly here again on the 16th. But definitely by the 23rd, we're back to our normal self. But that's to let you know what's happening. George says that I can't retro hell either, but he doesn't really want to. Yeah, I haven't found to be lacking in my experience with without retro hail. Oh, and here's something from Tony. Tony just sent me a text. I guess he wants to share his El Criollo. Come on, focus up. Getting the little ash going on there at the fire pit in San Diego. Nice. So, like we're saying, one of those episodes that will be away, I'm trying to gather some of the judges that I'm going to have with me on this trip to come and do one of the episodes with me. So we've got a cigar from Widmer's. Widmer's, Barry makes his own line. He works with a cigar manufacturer somewhere in the world, and nice looking cigar, Maduro wrapper. Is that right, Maduro? Double Bulls. Oh yes, that's right, Double Bull, because he named his cigars. He's a big dart player, so he named it after darts. So this is the Double Bull Maduro Toro, and he said this is his favorite of the line. So I thought I got a couple of those. What else do we have here? We've got the EPC Short Run. We've got an Esteban Carreras Connecticut Bullet. Evidently, this one's a hard one to come by, so we will have this one as well. At some point, I'll have to work on that. This is the Jessup Kral FDA. What else? Oh, that's the Jessup Kral. I also picked up this one called the Dapper La Madrina Dapper Toro. The rose and the skeleton hand. Then I found the number one cigar of 2020. One of the cigar journals, something like that, by Stallone. This one is called what is it called? The Alazan Habano Robusto. Come on, there we go. Stallone. No relation to Sly. No relation to Sly. What else do we have here? And finally, we've got this last one. The Caldwell. It's a Caldwell BMD 2021. This is Trouble. So these are the ones we've got coming up at some point, I think. I have to figure that out. But those are some of the ones. If you get some of those will be. And I will, work on a scheduling for the next couple weeks. By hopefully by the weekend. Oh, so Tom wants to, does the tissue help with the tongue bite, or just it's just the saliva? Normally, when I'm smoking with the guys or my own, I usually have a cup. So people always ask me, "Are you chewing too?" It's like that would be hardcore, smoking cigars and chewing tobacco. No, it must be 15 years now. But about 15 years ago, for some reason, smoking cigars just excited my I should get rid of that. Excited my saliva production. And so, if you were to swallow it, that would lead to like unpleasantness. So that's what that's why you see me doing that. So my apologies. Which one did you get, Rusty? Oh, so we're getting a little bit of burn issue, right? Because I've been talking so much, we're starting to get a little bit of like unevenness, meaning that I'm going to have to touch it up on the edges because it's still solid around the around the inside. It's just around the outside that's not so. That's not so well lit. Are the Widmers? Do you remember which Widmers you got? And George recommends the Padron 50th for the 100th anniversary show. Oh, well, that'd be good. That'd be good. I have to be honest though. I've had the 50. Not on the show, but this is when it first came out. One of our buddies wanted to buy one, bought a box, so I connected him to get the box, and so he gave me one as a thank you. And it was good. It was good. I don't remember it being like, like smashing, outstanding. It was solid cigar. But like it's never been one that I've been like, I need to go back and get more. Yes, of course. Coke Zero is a good way to go. Normally I have Coke or iced tea. That's really my drink of choice. Yeah. He had Barry has a lot of course I got all those of Barry's, and he had a lot of really interesting stuff, and those are the ones that I decided that I would go with. But he had so much more that I was so interested to try. Like he had more stuff from Privada Cigar Club. He had, all these different brands that I really hadn't seen much of and didn't know much of. And he was very, very much into cigars and like finding nice, interesting stuff. And okay, good. Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting. Like he has another line of cigars that's made for him by another manufacturer. One that he was telling me he does 20,000 sticks every year, and he can't disclose who the manufacturer is. Which didn't bother me any, but I thought those looked kind of interesting. I think he had a lot of stuff that I would like to do. Oh, for sure, not a problem. I'd love to see more of that. Oh, I didn't know you had that problem with the pipe. I have whether it's pipes or cigars. I had the same thing. Like when I went to Boswell a couple weeks ago, I smoked a pipe there. Still had to do it. Oh, all right, excellent. What do you got going on there? A friend of mine is oh no. I see his face. I just can't think of his name at the moment. Kent Bucky. He's one of the owners of La Marzocco, and he's got a amazing like vintage espresso machine collection. Like many years ago when I first was new to the business, we had a big party at Heinz Public Market Coffee in Seattle during the World Barista Championship, and Kent agreed to let us use his machines to do a party in honor of Piero Bambi for the 85th anniversary of La Marzocco. And he brought out all these machines that he had, and we went to his warehouse, and he had like tons and tons of machines, all kinds of crazy like stuff like Case Van der Westen, and just many different types of models. We selected a whole bunch, brought them out, set them up in this restaurant, took over this restaurant for the weekend. Just a cool experience. But yeah, there's a lot of great vintage machines out there. San Marco Lola Brigida. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I have to look that. We'll have to look that. Let's look that up. Yes, here. LSL, La San Marco. The Lola Brigida, does that also have the 53 millimeter portafilters? Oh, nice, dude. Look at that. This one, that looks fantastic. The Lola Brigida. Wow. That's beautiful, man. Is it, do you have it, is it working? I mean, is it in working condition or? Like I know a number of Kent's machines were not in operational. I mean, they probably could have worked, but he didn't really use them. Wow, look at that. That is cool. I wonder if it is on here. Let's see. Home Barista. Oh, here you are, Tom. Wow, dude, that's awesome. So still in its original condition, like you haven't really like done a full restoration on it. So it's got that nice wear on it, that nice patina. It looks fantastic. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Wow. Oh, I like the posters in the background, the flavor wheel. That's the one from Counterculture, right? Wow. Oh, 1954. Okay. Wow, look at that thing. It's so fascinating to see, though, this old school technology and how it really hasn't. I mean, it's not that it hasn't changed, but like a friend of mine's rebuilding a 2-group La Marzocco Linea. And I was telling, he's like, oh, I'm going to send it out. I said, you don't have to send it out. You can do it yourself. It's very simple. Of Ramanat Udin, Italia. Oh, wow. Look at the detail on that. That is cool. So is that just like it polished and then it's kind of blasted to get the texture? Oh, it's bakelite. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, I can see that. That looks great. The bakelite handles and the knobs. Oh, that's pretty dope. And so these levers here at the bottom, those are for controlling the water inlet. Is that correct? Like the linears and stuff are pretty much the oldest era machines that I've really used. And of course, a lot of people use the E61 group heads, but like the old school E61s, I've played a little bit. But I know these older machines, from what I recall, they would have these knobs at the bottom where they would adjust the inlet of the water or something like that. And okay, the manual drain of the manual, yeah, that's fascinating to watch. And so the manual fill would be regulated only by the pressure of the water coming into the building. Is that correct? So it's relying on city pressure, or if you have an external pump, like a flow jet or something. Okay. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Fantastic. Is that so? But I imagine that since you said earlier that it's in working condition, but you haven't filled it up, I guess you're using something else as your primary espresso machine. Yeah, I was just about to install to reconnect the Linear 2 group that I have, but I went to energize the outlet from the box, and I hit the breaker on it, and I guess I didn't wire the box correctly because the electrical blocks, the box, sparked and shorted out. So I had to go back in and redo it. It's like, gosh, embarrassing. So we're definitely well into the second third. It's still very pleasant, very enjoyable. I'm not getting any kind of really super distinct like flavor notes. Like I guess those things that they were talking about in the Half Wheel article about the breads, that's all kind of applicable. The maybe a little bit of the pepperiness, but whatever it is, it's really pleasant. It's really enjoyable. Speedster and the decent espresso DE1 Pro. Speedster. Now you're just showing off now. The Speedster, I really like those. I went to visit maybe 3 years ago. Maybe it's 2018, 2019. I ended up in maybe it was 2019, early 2019. I was in Uganda, and I fly. And when I go to Uganda lately, it's been usually on United to Brussels, and then on Brussels Air into Africa. So on the way back, I stopped off for a few days, and I called up Kays, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm coming over." He's like, "All right, come on over." So he took me to a tourist factory. Like, yeah, man, I think he makes some beautiful, beautiful machines. Like that Speedster is super sexy. And for those of you who are not too familiar with it, I'll pull it up here. Like for a long time, when I first got into business in about 20 years ago, the Speedster was a really limited release. And I think now you can buy it. He'll make new ones. It's actually, and it's a lot more advanced than the original. So did you get the newer release of the Speedster or the original ones? Like these Speedsters, I think they're just super sexy. He was showing me a newer version of the Hydro Compresso that he was, at the time, he was still working on the prototypes. I would love to have that. Look at that. The Speedster is just, that's just bad. That's just badass. And I've seen people talk about the decent, but I haven't tried the decent myself. What do you think about that? How does that compare to like everything else you're used to using? Like the Spirit's the one that I really liked. I would like to have one of those. I think they're super cool looking. My buddy John at Cafe de Bola in Salt Lake City, he's got the Spirit. I think the 3 group. I really like 3 groups too. And the new Slim Jim, I think those are cool as well. The one that I'm really not too into is the Mirage. Like the Mirage, it's cool, but I'm just not. It doesn't like move me as much as like the Slim Jim and the Speedster and the Spirits. The Decent cool heats up so quick, takes up very little space and flexible. So the Decent, the heating of it, is it? And I really don't know too much about it, so I'm just totally conjecturing. Is the Decent, is it using a boiler or is it using a thermoblock or maybe some kind of? I know that Greg Scase was working on this thing with what was the company he was working with? It was when Cosimo was running the company. They were doing something with like induction heating. You don't like the feet? Yeah, let's look at the feet here. This is the feet. This is a Slim Jim. Maybe I didn't have this clicked. I guess I didn't have it clicked on when I was talking about everything. This is the Spirit. And then the Speedster. And these were interesting. I think the Speedster this was true of the Speedster, and I know it was true with the Spirit. They were originally, he was originally using La Marzocco components to make these. Like on the old Spirits, like the one that Stumptown had many years ago, they actually had Marzocco saturated group heads. Now Case has devised his own saturated type of group head. Oh, okay, so the Decent has a high-tech thermal. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I noticed it has that like iPad kind of thing on top of it. So, and from what I've gathered by conversations people have had online, you can control a lot of the different parameters within the machine. Is that correct? I don't, to me, at least for me personally, I don't find them to be that big and wonky. I really just find them to be quite sexy. Like I like this kind of retro-ish, like B-29 bomber kind of thing to it. But yeah. So he's got a great workshop, and yeah, that was cool time, good times. So we're really cruising along, and it's smoking well. It's smoking well. Also, we should do our mailbag. I got a shipment yesterday, from Scott Rayo. And it was Mark. Mark turned me on to this, and it finally came in. Mark, I don't know if you're still watching, but did you get this? Did you get your copy yet? I guess because I ordered a book, and now there's been several days. I don't remember what the name of the book was. No stickers, no swag. Rubbish. Yes, Jonathan Gagne has a new book called The Physics of Filter Coffee. And Mark was the one that turned me on to it. And it's about the physics of filter coffee, I guess. I don't really know. I'm interested to see what happens inside the book and what they talk about. And here's the thing about coffee books. Like if these kind of technically, kind of coffee books, when they come out, you really, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, you really want to grab them as soon as you can, because if you wait, they may go out of print. And when they go out of print, then it becomes very difficult. Like, for example, one of the books that people really are looking for is one that Maxwell Colonna Dashwood made a few years ago, called Water for Coffee. And it's all about water principles in terms of coffee. And as I was making this year's gift guide, I was going to include that as one of the gift ideas. But as I was looking for it online, like you can't really find it anymore. So some of the books like that, you want to, if you're interested, you should grab them right away. I think it was, how much was this book? This book was, I want to say it was $45. I don't recall how much it was, but I look forward to reading it and seeing what it's all about. Yeah. This is really quite enjoyable. So far, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I dig the weird shape of it. Actually, I prefer the weird shape. I wanted the weird shape. There was the other, like I said, when I was picking these up, there was only 2 left in the box. And the other one was much more round. It was one of the more center ones, so it didn't have this funky shape. I chose the funky shape because I was like, oh, I want to try this. But let's see what other people had to say about it. We'll go see what Cigar Snob has to say. A cigar recreated from the 1940s Cuba. Oh, that's it. And they don't say anything. Okay, go developing pallets. December 2020. Let's just go to the end for these guys. I don't want to talk. That's the final third. Pretty much the same as second, third. Light flavors of red pepper. Yeah, red pepper, that's a good way. Nuts, baking spices. I can go along with that. Some sweet citrus. Mocha in the end. Mintiness. Charred wood, earth mustiness, and light mintiness. That doesn't sound very good. Charred wood and mustiness. So overall, let's see here. Had a good start in non-combination flavors. Components began dropping out of the second, third. I didn't think it dropped out. I think it stayed somewhat static, but not in a boring way. Like sometimes when you have very static type cigars, that don't really change and they don't have much dynamism, they get to be kind of boring. And like I'll sit here and continually banter on, but really I'm thinking I wish I could just drop it. And Tom says I met June from Oh, really? I'd like to meet some of these guys. I wonder if June's one of the guys that did one of these. Let's see. Oh yeah, Jun Liu. Here it is. Let's see what June has to say about his overall. Average tasting experience for a wrapper that's supposed to give big, deep flavors. The Yagua falls short of that. It has bright, light flavors of red pepper spice, nuts, and baking spices. None of what I think a good Connecticut broadleaf, chewy chocolate viscous. Really interesting. Wonderful packing and cigar shape, but the flavors fall short. Oh, pass. I don't quite agree with that. Like, I think it's quite interesting. And, here's one thing I wonder, like, why I don't really place a lot of heaviness into reading a lot of the reviews beforehand, or even reading, like when I first started the show, I would read a lot of the reviews and, develop notes before the show. But now I've stopped that and just started to smoke and then look at them as we're doing it, so that it's a lot more extemporaneous, right? It's a lot more natural. And, a lot of times you'll think about, like he says here, like none of what I think a good Connecticut broadleaf. And so you read the components like Connecticut broadleaf, or you read that it's from Nicaragua or a certain factory. And I think it's natural that we have normal expectations of what we think it should be. Like, we talk about in Nicaraguan cigars, it should be a lot of black pepper. Or like he's saying here, Connecticut broadleaf should be chewy chocolate viscous. I try not to think too much of that because I want to experience the cigar for what it is, which hopefully doesn't end up in disappointment. Sometimes it does. I don't have San Jose. Okay, great. San Jose. A friend of mine was the founder of what's it called? Barefoot Coffee, a guy named Andy Newbaum. Really good old friend of mine, great guy. Actually, he called me last week. He's like, "Hey man," was asking me all kinds of questions about the COE, Cup of Excellence, and he was asking me, is it relevant anymore? And because he's going for, I think he's trying to go for their managing director position there now. So he left after he sold off Barefoot. He did some work in coffee down in El Salvador, and then was promoting Mexican coffee for a while with an import group, and then left coffee for the last 5 years. I was like, dude, you're fine. I knew you couldn't last away from the business. And Tony's asking, no Saints and Sinners kit, have they arrived? I haven't, to be honest with you. Oh, I think they did ship, right? I think I got a shipping notice a while back. But I have it all sent to my post office box, and I'm really, really bad about going to the post office. Like months will go by before I go to check on my box. So I probably have it there. I just need to go check it out. I have to say there is a part of me that's like, I enjoy the kit. I really do. And I enjoy getting the stuff. But now, after smoking cigars for so long and being a member of Saints and Sinners now for quite a number of years, like, and I know they're always sending us new swag because it's part of the experience, and I think it's cool. But I don't know if I really need. I mean, I won't. I'm not going to like leave the group because I do enjoy the cigars. But it's like, man, I still have boxes of like Saints and Sinners stuff that I haven't even used. But I think, let's see. Let's see. So Jim doesn't really like it. Oh, this other guy, although the burn performance was absolutely abysmal. Wow, that sucks. I was not blown away by the JC Newman Yagua, but it is a cigar. If I came back and wanted something fun and funky, he enjoyed the coconut porter, mocha, and hopper notes that were delivered. And then this other guy says it was very wet. Waited over 30 days to smoke. The process definitely provides inconsistency in the draw. He needs to stop at the bundling. Oh, so these guys are definitely not into it. Ooh, okay. Let's see what Leaf Enthusiast has to say. Also from December 2020. So, Tom, how's the cigar situation out there in San Jose? Yagua, let's see here. Oh yeah, look at the way that it's packaged. That's so. I do think the way that they do it is quite interesting. So pre-light 2 construction 1-2, flavor 4-5, value 1. I don't really understand what that means. Total 8 out of 10. And it's tasty. It's a good solid blend, especially at the price. Strong and full bodied. Amazingly inconsistent in terms of whether you'll get a decent draw or not. Oh, interesting. I wonder if like these ones that are on the outer rim that have the more funky shapes have more draw problems. I have not had any draw problems this entire time. There was that one moment when I felt that little bit of heat on the finger, but that dissipated, and I was kind of fearful that it might lead to maybe burn through or tunneling, but so it maintained itself the entire way. So Tom says pretty much every guy in our group buys online. So, oh gosh, I heard the taxes are crazy. So I guess in your world, you don't really, there's no shop. You guys don't hang out at a shop to smoke, or you just get together with friends. Like our group here in Baltimore, like we always had a shop for like, gosh, almost the last 20 years. We've had a shop that we kind of gravitated towards. We started off, most of the guys that we hang out with today, we really met at a place called Adam Leaf and Bean, which was taken over from another place called Rolling Road Tobacco when they went out of business. And since that time, we went from from Adam Leaf and Bean to Faders, and pretty much have been at Faders. We had a home shop until maybe 2-3 years ago when Faders finally went under. So Tony says no swag this year, but shirt and challenge coin. Okay, cool. Oh, just hanging out in the backyard. Yeah, that's pretty much how it's been for us these last few years. Hanging out different people's places, like Tony said earlier. Our crew is over with at our other buddy's place. He's got this company that has a big like 80,000 square foot warehouse. So usually we get together there, smoke once in a while. Share home roast coffee and cigar. Oh, excellent, excellent. All right, Tony, have a good dinner. Have a good thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming down. So who else do we have out here? We've got Cigar Coop. Let's see what Coop has to say. Coop did his in October of 2020. So well over a year now. And so he smoked one of the more funky shape, asymmetrical press. I like that name. All right, here we go. Coop says, earlier I mentioned the fact that each dry box, dry boxes before the assessment. So mine was, I don't know how long Rahul had this bundle, but it was definitely out of the bundle. And these, like I said, these are the last two left, or one of the last two left. So I'm presuming that probably was similar to dry bundling. So if they're super wet when they were packaged and when they arrived, these cigars had time to relax. Plus, I've had this in my humidor now for over a month, probably close to 2 months, because I think this last round I bought 2 months worth of cigars, or cigars for the show. Let's see what it says. It's got the rich coffee notes and balance with sweetness and spice. Some slight variances in the flavor pattern due to the shape variations, but core flavors were present. Cigar scores are very respectable, 89. And gut tells me longer aging, packaging, bundle of cigar even better. So if this cigar was made last year, technically, or I guess, I don't know if these are regular production runs or not. And this one's had the time, if that's the case, this one really has had the time to rest and age and mature beyond what the guys that we've looked at have done. So I've really have so far enjoyed this quite a lot. And also 89 from Coop. I think it was 89 too from Charlie. Yeah, it seemed like a... So it says that JC Newman's Nicaraguan offerings dominated by sales of Quorum and Brick House are not in line with the modern Nicaraguan cigar offerings, but Yagua is. The draws are a bit all over the place. So I guess one of the things I'm seeing that from these reviews is that these guys are smoking multiples of these cigars, and they're from different parts of the bundle. So they're having definitely variations in the way the draw. So I guess the way that it's packaged is affecting the performance of the cigar. But at its best can be a great medium full cigar. And I would have to agree with that. It's really enjoyable. At least mine is. Has more advanced flavors and balance that he hasn't found in many brick houses. Yeah, I would definitely say that these are better than the brick houses. At least this one is. Like Brick House, I've had that a few times. I didn't really think too much about it. Like, it's not one that I would be like, oh, I'm going to go get more. So I heard some comments from some viewers this past week. One of them was a commentary about, hey, how about some reviews on $5 cigars? Like, is there a good $5 cigar? And maybe that's something for you guys to think about. Like, have you had any $5? Let's say I think nowadays it's difficult to find a $5 cigar. So let's say sub 6 or sub 7. Are there any ones that really stand out to you? And this guy was saying that some of us would like to know more about these cheaper cigars rather than expensive cigars. And I think that's a fair question and a fair challenge. And I think we're going to take that on. One of the things that off the top of my head that comes to mind is, like, here in Maryland, we have the OTP, which adds, I think, 1.6% or 1.6 times the cost of the cigar, which is why this cigar MSRP is $750. It's cost me $9.95. There's a cigar that I was smoking prior to the pandemic, quite frequently, made by Drew Estate. It's called the Factory Smoke. And these are bundle cigars that are, I don't think they're short filler because they didn't break up like short filler cigars do, but I got them at a local cigar shop around here. And I remember them costing like, I want to say they cost $3.75. They were really cheap. And they come in 3 different models. And maybe we can find them. Let's see here. Here they are. Oh, goodness. No. So these are the Drew Estate Factory Smokes. So there's 3. Now they say, from the highly skilled artisans who created Liga, Bravado, Undercrown, and stovetop rated brands. Don't let that fool you. These are not Liga or Undercrown seconds, by no means. These are separately made cigars, sun-grown shade, Maduro, wrappers over Indonesian binders and filler tobaccos. Not factory second, just affordable line of bundled cigars. So they're very affordable. The Maduro, the Toro Maduro, this one here, was the one that I liked the best. I had smoked all of them. I did the Maduro, the shade, and what is it? Sun-grown. And I thought that the Maduro was the one that I liked the best. And I smoked a lot of them for a while. But it's one of those cigars that, it's got decent flavor and great price point. But after you've smoked quite a few of them, and I don't mean 20, I mean like less than 20, and you smoke them quite often, they got to a point for me that was like, all right, I've had enough. Like, I enjoy the nice cigars. I enjoy, like all of you may know that watch the show a lot, I enjoy the Roma Craft Revenge. I enjoy the Tatuajes, especially like the Black Label and the Perfecto shape, the little the anniversary one. I enjoy those a lot, and I can smoke those nonstop pretty much. There comes a point with the Maduro, the Toros, that I was smoking them, and I was just, you know what? I have just reached a point where I no longer want to smoke them. Like, they're okay, great price point, but after like maybe 8 of them, and not in a row and not successively, just 8 overall, or maybe 12, I was just like, okay, I've had enough. Meaning that I wasn't getting the pleasure that I really wanted out of a cigar. So I was like, it's cheap and it's good, but not enough to hold my attention anymore. And Di says, sounds like pumpkin spice. Yeah, Di, exactly. How are you doing, Di? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. We still need to chat about the NAS systems. Actually, I totally forgot about contacting about that until just this very moment. Terrible. But I think this is a nice cigar. I'm getting a little bit uneven burning right now, like right here. It's not lit. Or it needs a touch up. The Hellstar coffee is still doing very nicely. It's a little bit, it feels brighter now. It actually feels brighter than it did when it started. Still with the dried mango and a little bit of the dried pineapple. But it definitely is different than when it was hot. And that's pretty cool now. So yeah, I will look. I'll look for some more interesting cigars at a lower price point, rather than just expensive cigars. And you know me, anything over $12 gets to be expensive. Okay, so now here we are. From right about here, this point, it's been dynamic. It's been fun. It's been enjoyable, interesting to smoke. But since about this point, it's kind of been getting a little bit boring. Like right now, it's a little bit tedious. But yeah, tedious enough. Oh my goodness. All right, so that's good. That's good. So we've had a good time. So the question that we always ask, would I buy it again? Yeah, I think I would. It's if you could find it at the 750 price point or maybe right around there, I think it's a great buy. Based on what we're talking about with look at the reviews, the strange press shape that it has, this asymmetrical press. There may or may not be issues with draw and consistency of burn because the shape. This one, with its trapezoidal shape, didn't have any problems with burn. It burned really well the entire time. Enjoyable until just about now. And so I would say, yeah, it's worth trying again. Worth doing more. So yeah, I think that's good. All right, so I guess that's going to be it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate you spending that time with me here tonight. So as always, we'll be back again next week on Thursday, which will be Thanksgiving. So after you've had enough time to eat all of your turkey and stuff yourself and don't have anything else to do, come join me online here, and we'll be doing it again starting at 8 p.m. I'm not sure we're going to smoke, but we'll find something good for next week. After that, we're going to be December 2nd. That's going to be the Blue Bonnets Rojas, which should be quite an interesting smoke. And but like I said earlier in the broadcast, that I may or may not be on the way to Saudi Arabia by that point, so that may be a pre-recorded show. So we won't have as much dynamism in the chat. And then the week after that, on the 8th or so, I will definitely be in Saudi Arabia. That will almost for sure be a pre-recorded show. But I'm going to bring in some people from Saudi Arabia to join us on the show. So come check us out. Thank you very much for tuning in. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Have a great week.